Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to be learning about fractions. More specifically, we're going to be focusing on unit fractions. Before we get started, let's talk about what a unit fraction actually is. So a unit fraction is a fraction that has a numerator of 1. So a fraction has two numbers, one on the top and one on the bottom. The number on top is called our numerator and the number on the bottom is called our denominator. So a unit fraction has the top number as 1, so our numerator. And a unit fraction represents one shaded part of all equal parts. So here we have an example. It's 1/8, which represents 1 part out of 8 equal parts. And this fraction can also be read as 1/8. So here we have a model, and the circle is split up into 8 equal parts. Notice that we have one slice of it sticking out. This one slice represents our unit fraction. So it's our unit fraction because it's 1 out of the 8 that we see here. So this part, this is our unit fraction, just one part out of the 8 that we see. All right? So here we have several models, and so we're going to go over what a unit fraction looks like when we represent it. So up here, we have 1/2, and in order to represent this unit fraction, we're going to shade in one part. Now we know it's a unit fraction because the top number, our numerator, is 1. The denominator can change, but for a unit fraction, the numerator needs to be 1. All right? So here we have 1/3, and in order to represent our unit fraction, we're going to shade in one part. All right? And then as we go down here, we have 1/4. In order to represent our unit fraction, we have to shade in one part. And the same thing again for 1/5. In order to represent our unit fraction, we have to shade in one part. And then if we come over here to 1/6, same thing. In order to represent our unit fraction, shade in one part. And then for 1/7, again, we're going to shade in one part. And now we have 1/8. In order to represent our unit fraction, shade in one part. And then 1/9, we're going to shade in one part. Down here we have 1/10. And we're going to do the same thing, shade in one part. And then we have 1/11, shade in one part to represent our unit fraction. And then we have 1/12, so shade in one part to represent our unit fraction. And then we have 1/13, and again, shade in one piece to represent our unit fraction. So I'm going to take all of these and just move it over so that we could see all of them at the same time. So notice that all of these have one part shaded in. So they all have the same numerator, which is 1, and they are unit fractions. Now notice, the more slices we cut our circle into, the smaller our pieces get. So as our denominator increases here, if we're only shading in one part, the parts get smaller. So take a look at 1/2 compared to 1/13. So as we split it up into more parts and our denominator gets bigger, our unit fraction becomes smaller. The pieces become smaller. And that's it.